Hey guys, hope you're having an awesome day. This is going to be something different. I'm doing a collaboration with my friend Bass, and he has a channel called Camp Keyframe, which you can see now. He's a really great animator and he uses After Effects, so he's got simple tutorials and he has good English and they're really easy to follow along, so definitely check his channel out. And in this video I'm going to be showing you how to create a juice bottle label design, and then Bass is going to animate the full thing in After Effects. He's going to show you how to fix any errors and how to set up the file from Illustrator into After Effects to make it all better. So I'm in Photoshop here and I did a quick mock-up, and you can see this is the label that I designed. I did a purple one and a orange one. I'm going to show you how to create this from scratch, and I'm going to make it a simple process. We're going to be using Illustrator today, so I'm going to jump into Illustrator and you can see my file that I was working on. You can see some of the stuff I was playing around with here, and I found this nice font, and then I like this sort of oval circular, you know, it's a bit more organic layout with the actual shape. And I created like this little icon logo thing, which looks pretty cool. It also represents juice, so for the J. And you can see here I created like a Just Juice, so I just made it up. I think there's a Just Juice brand actually in Australia, but obviously we're just making this up, which is totally fine. So I've got the text here that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to clip here on the side. And first off, we're going to start off by creating the actual shape. So I'm going to press L for the ellipse tool, and I'm actually going to scale this up. And you can see here, if I select my anchor point and I scale it up like this, you can see it starts to stretch it weirdly, right? I could just select the middle points and move this up and down, but it's not going to work. So I just wanted to show you guys that in case you tend to use that shape. But I want to show you with the rectangle tool. So I'll press M for the rectangle tool, and I'll make it about that size, not too wide. And then what I can actually do is actually round off all the corners. So if I just have my selection tool by pressing V, you can see if you're in CC Adobe, then you can have this little white, you'll see these white circles on the edges. What I can do is drag these in like this, so you can see that. And then now we have the shape that we want. So you can see, and if we want to make it shorter, then I can press A for the direct selection tool, select the anchor points, and hold shift and press the arrow keys down, or even just drag it down like this. So you can see you can make it very long or make it heaps shorter. So I like to have a decent size. I think that will work pretty cool. So I'm just going to change the color. I'll just use this gray color for now. So what we want to do is we want to add the text so it wraps around this shape here. So I'm going to select my shape, go to Object, click Path, and click Offset Path. This will allow the path to duplicate itself and actually go inward. So if I minus the offset, you can see here what's happening. It's going to go on the inside of this shape. So I'm holding shift and just using my mouse wheel to scroll, and I want to find a nice space that gives us space to put the text in between this shape and then the end or the edge. So once I'm happy, I can click around, leave this mid limit, and that's fine. Press OK. So if I color this, you can see now I have this shape. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press T for the type tool, and I want to right click on the type tool. It's located on the left hand side, and click type on a path. I'm then going to click on this shape or this path here, and it's going to add the text to this path. Because I already have my text on the left, I'm just going to select it with my type tool, press Ctrl A and then Ctrl C to copy it. Go back to my text here and press Ctrl V to paste it in. So now if I make this just white for now, you can see now we have the ability to shift this around on this path. So if you zoom in, I'm just holding Alt and zooming with the mouse, you can see you get this line. I can actually bring this around like this, so it shifts the actual starting point of where the text starts. So I'm gonna bring it there, so I have a nice shape now, and you can see like it's fairly even now. So if I just, so you can see we have this shape now, and it's pretty much aligned. And if we need to, you know, bring this a bit down to make sure that it's aligned as well here, so you can see, you can bring it, I try and make it as much. You can also increase the size by holding Control Shift and the comma or full stop buttons. You can also decrease or increase the kerning or the tracking by holding Alt and tapping it as well, so to make sure it lines up. So it's up to you how you want to do it. So I think this should be fine, like that. Cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this text, Press Control C, Control F to paste it in front. Now I've got this text here, so I'll just change the color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this line. You can see it's like a bit longer than the other ones there. I'm going to left click, drag it inside the shape. So you can see this is outside, this is inside. So I'm just literally moving it in. Then what I can do is I can start to go to the top of my first letter here. I'm going to drag this out. And it's easier obviously if you zoom in. And I'm pretty much going to copy how I did it here. So what I'm going to do now, because I want to keep this aligned with the top half, I'm just going to grab the center anchor point, hold Shift and Alt, and just drag it up. So now you can see they're pretty much aligned on this on the baseline axis. You can see though that the text went bigger for some reason, so it happens when you scale it up. So I'm going to press I for the eyedropper and just left click on the white text. So now it should duplicate the same size and everything. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy and paste this text here. And then I can do the eyedropper again and select it. So we can see that there. Cool. Awesome. Looking nice. You can see this is a bit too further down. So I'm just going to bump this up so we can have this nice spacing here. So it's consistent with the top. And I can always just adjust it by using my arrow keys. Cool. Now this is looking awesome right now. So what we're going to do, we're going to create our little logo in the middle. So I'm going to press T for the type tool, left click once. I'm just going to get a black color. I'm going to type just juice, and I want this to be bolder. So I'm using the font called Amphibia. It's a paid font, but you guys can use Monster Rat or Bebes or other fonts that have a nice weight to it. But yeah, you can keep it modern and clean. I like this font because it's got rounded corners, which is nice. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to bump it the width. You can see it's got so many styles. I want to go black is a bit too thick. I might go bold, expanded. I think that feels about right. So I'm going to show you how to create this effect where we join the letters together. Originally, I had a video that was already recorded that designed the type like this. But in this tutorial, you'll probably see it like this, as we can see how I designed it like that. So if it looks a bit different on Bass's video, just keep that in mind. It was an accident on my part. I actually lost the file because I upgraded my PC, but it's all good. I'm going to show you how to do it. So I have my text here. I can make it bolder if I want. So if I bump it up, that's fine. What I'm going to do now is select the text that I want, press Object and click Expand. This will turn the live type into actually shapes. So you can see it's all like shapes now separated if I select it. So all I'm going to do is press A for the direct selection tool, select these 2 anchor points on the J. So you can see the J has 4 anchors because it's rounded. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold Shift and tap the left arrow key, or get your mouse and drag like this, as you can see. And this will join the T and the J together. And you know, it doesn't have to be thick. It can be a thinner version, doesn't matter. But this is how you join that logo to make it look really cool. And then, you know, you can chuck it on the label. I'm going to bring this in the middle and I'm going to put it right there. So that's looking really cool right now. Awesome. So now I'm going to add these other texts here. So I'm just going to duplicate it by holding Alt. And this is demi bold, just like the other text. And I'm just going to, holding Shift, I can select both of these by clicking on them. And then I'm just going to bump them up with the arrow keys. And then I'm going to duplicate this one, bring it to the front. So a shortcut is Control Shift, and then you can press the square brackets on your keyboard. So left square bracket brings it down, right square bracket brings it up. And then I'm going to press Control Shift and the comma to drop down the size. You can also scale it by grabbing the corner and scaling it like this. So I'm going to put it there. And I could maybe drop this down to maybe a regular, so it's a bit lighter, and just give it some space to breathe. Or I could put this down like that in that little section. I think down here, yeah, I stacked it up. So I can do it like this, and I'll make the paragraph centered. And so I'm like filling this nice space all in here, this white space, and I'm sort of filling it like this. I could add lines like this as well if I want. So maybe I want to do that. subtle thing. I can bump this up a bit. A bit too far. And I'm just using my eyes to optically align everything. So that's looking good. It's looking nice and professional so far. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the little icon that I made. So if I just go over here and grab it. So you can see all that is pretty much semicircles. So I'm going to press L for the ellipse tool. Holding Alt and Shift, I'm going to click and drag to get the circle up. I'm going to press A for my direct selection tool, which is the white mouse button. I'm going to drag and select the top anchor point and click delete. Then you can see I have these semicircle here, so I can press Ctrl J and it should join these two lines at the top. Because we deleted that point, we had to join these two top anchor points. So I have this, and then now I can duplicate this by holding Alt Shift. And now I'm rotating it by holding the corners. And I'm gonna drag that in the middle like that. And what I can do is delete this anchor point here. And now you can see it pretty much got rid of that part. So what we have to do is press P for the pen tool. Let me just show you guys here. So I press P for the pen tool. I'm gonna make sure there's a point here. So I press P, click in the center. So now we have a point here. As you can see, I can move that. So now if I delete this, it should keep this semicircle or quarter circle, should I say, like that. And now I'm gonna drag it and make sure it lines. You can see it's snapping into place. That means my smart guides are on. So you can click on View and go to Smart Guides, which is Control U, to get that, which is awesome. Cool, it's looking really awesome. Now for the leaves, all you can do is just get two circles like this, duplicate it. So now I've got two circles like this. I can select it, press Shift M, hold Alt or Option if you're on a Mac, and I left click, and now I have this leaf shape like this, which I put it here, and then I can duplicate it by holding Alt and Shift, and then scale it down, holding Shift and clicking, dragging. Then I'm gonna rotate, so grab the corner. You see your mouse changes, and hold Shift and drag it like this. And I'm gonna align it to this endpoint, so you can see it's aligned. And I'm gonna drag it like this. And now we've got our cool little icon, and I can actually Control G to group it and bring it over here. So now it's like a abstract J with a cut up orange with like leaves, so it's like organic. Gives an impression of like something's fresh, which is really cool. So awesome, it's looking really good. I think I might make this more bolder, this gold pressed. Let me go bold. Yeah, that feels more stronger. And now we're gonna add some detail with the lines. So to do this, what I like to do is, once again, I'm gonna duplicate this shape here. So I'm gonna press Object, Path, Offset Path, press Preview so I can see, and I'm going to go even further minus and go somewhere internally inside the text. So I'm gonna press OK so you guys can see. Make sure there's no fill as well so it doesn't cover anything. So you can see I got my stroke here, right? That's looking really awesome. I'm just gonna delete the other side for now. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a box. So press M for the rectangle tool. I'm gonna make a box, make sure that it goes past all the way outside the shape. I'm gonna scale it a bit up like this so it's not on the text, and then I can obviously change the text here and always adjust as I go. So now what I can do is I can select these paths. So select this shape and this shape path, hold Shift. I'm gonna press Shift M for the shape builder tool, and I'm gonna plus these shapes together like this. So now we have this shape, as I can show you, right? So I'm just gonna scale this up a bit just so we get the right sizing. I'm gonna drop the stroke down to 6 so you can see the top left corner, and I'm gonna go Object, Path, Offset Path. And I don't wanna offset it too much, I wanna keep it like tight, so -15 is fine. And then I can press Control C, Control F, and then press Then what I can do, I can just do it, repeat the process, object path, offset path, press preview, and then leave it at the same offset, press OK, so it's consistent. So you can see here we got these 3 strokes like that. I'm going to select the 3 paths, press Ctrl G. I'm going to select this shape and press Ctrl C, Ctrl F. I'm going to bring it to the top. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this and select these shapes here. I'm going to go to Object, Path, Offset Path. So I'm going to go to, so select them both, then press Object, Clipping Mask, Make. And sweet, and there we have it. Now we're going to add some effects and add some color to it. So before we do anything, I'm just going to duplicate this like this in case I make a mistake. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, because this is grouped, I'm going to double click on the actual shape here. I'm going to press P for the pen tool, locate this section. I'm going to hold shift and drag to the left, hold shift, left click again. So I've literally just made a shape like this color, like this. So what I can do, hold shift, select this shape, hold shift M, hold alt and minus that off like that. And we get this like cutout shape. If you don't want to cut it out, what you can do is click the color, click on your transparency and make it a multiply color. I'm also going to hold shift and just minus this excess part here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this orange. So now you can see that this color shape is an orange shape and it has multiply blending mode on it. I'm also going to select the back, select my swatches. You can see this icon is the same color as that, so I can make it red. I can also change this color as well, make sure that's red. Looking really cool. What I can do for the lines, I can double click inside the clipping mask. So because this is in a group like this, it's in a clipping mask, so it's actually within this shape. Just make sure, I just want to make sure that I can see it here. I'm going to select it all and then I'm going to select multiply in the transparency. So now these are multiplied as well, which is really cool. So you can see the clipping mask doesn't have a transparency. I double clicked, which takes me into isolation mode, right? And I can select these and then add the transparency inside. So keep that in mind when you're doing this stuff. I'm going to change this to white like this. I'm going to add a shadow on this actual text here. So what I can do to add a shadow is go to my appearance panel, click FX, go to stylize and drop shadow, click preview. And you can see it adds a shadow. So if I decrease the blur, put it on multiply and select the orange color. So if you click the swatch, click color swatches here, locate my orange, press OK, and it should add a hard cell shadow there, drop shadow. So now you can see this effect is actually applied to the text. I'm just going to move this up. So cool, it's looking good. I think I'm going to edit this as well, bring this up. I want to change these to the same size as that. Change the blending mode to multiply. I'll probably make the text white as well. I feel like it's a little too thin, so I'll bring it up as well to a demi bold. Like that. So I could even get rid of these lines. Keep it simple. Well, it just depends what look you're going for. So now so cool. So I'm just going to maybe drop down this text a bit. So cool, now we have our label designed and it's really awesome. So Baz will pretty much take this file and he's going to show you how to animate it in After Effects. He's also going to show you some ways on how to improve the design and how to actually improve the mistakes, especially when you receive a file from a designer. He was going to show you how to do all that and make the workflow efficient. So I've just showed you how to design it today, and You know, you can do so many things with the design. If I want to make it purple, I can also just drag it like this. And if I make a new folder with the swatch, I can select my swatch, make it purple. And maybe I want some other purple colors, so I can add these different shades of purple. Right? So now if I select all this, a quick way to quickly recolor everything is click Object, is to click on Edit and click Edit Colors, and you can click on Recolor Artwork. So this allows us to go into this option, and you can see now if I just choose black and white or purple, and I can click this button to shift it around, you can see what happens. It's using these two colors and swapping it out for the purple colors. And I can always edit it like over here as well. So maybe I want like heaps bright purple. I can always play around with that and press OK. And then I can click no, and you see we have this purple color. And then once again, I can make, you know, I can play around with the colors if I want. That was on stroke for some reason, like this. And you know, there's so many different ways of doing that. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. The links will be in the description to the After Effects videos on Camp Keyframes channel, and he will show you how to do everything.